This is episode 49, Road Trip. Now is the time of year when many families take a vacation and many by car. So I found a couple of poems I wrote about road trips that I've taken in the past, and I wrote a brand new poem that I finished this morning called Road Trip. But the first poem is called the Columbia Sternwheeler. And one year I went to visit my brother who lived in Seattle at the time, and we drove all the way from Los Angeles and stopped in Portland to visit some friends there. And they took us to brunch on a Sunday on a riverboat on the Columbia River called the Columbia Sternwheeler. Big paddle boat, just like the Mark Twain boat at Disneyland. And except this was a real one. And it was a beautiful trip. Showed us the old growth forest along the Oregon coast. Really nice. About a 2-hour ride, included brunch. So I wrote this poem, the Columbia Sternwheeler. Columbia River, flowing through a prehistoric gorge, created by 1,000-foot ice flows and walls of water in prehistoric times, when the Pacific Ocean stretched to Idaho, and most of this land was underwater. When the first North Americans arrived and began living in paradise without cutting down trees, because they knew you do not build a paradise when it is already there. You only have to live like a flea on a dog, or a bird in the sky. The Sternwheeler is cutting through that gorge every morning, like a knife through butter, bringing tourists with cameras, sipping Bloody Marys, discussing the scenery while waiting for brunch. A crew member who resembled a young Jerry Lewis smiled and posed for photographs while waving his cap. That was a memorable trip. Highly recommended. If it's still there, this was 20 years ago I'm talking about. The next one is called the Dinosaur Truck Stop. And if you've ever driven from Los Angeles to Palm Springs or back, you've passed by this place. But I'm sure there are plenty of truck stops throughout the country that are very similar. Matter of fact, what I describe here is also located in Barstow, California, on the way to Las Vegas, where the restaurant looks like a train car, dining car. But Dinosaur Truck Stop. Alone in the desert, alongside the streaming highway flowing with automobiles, 2 dinosaurs sit quietly grinning. They are aware of what happens when nature outlives you. You can climb stairs and look out through their eyes to see mountains unchanged by civilization. You can breathe the smell of 91 octane through their nostrils. A sign outside says one word: eat. Through revolving doors, you enter a time machine, transporting you back to a land of black and white TV shows, waitresses in hairnets, velvet paintings of Elvis, and a circle of video games in the lobby greet you. In the back of the restaurant is an art gallery filled with cardboard cornered masterpieces of dogs playing poker, a museum of ladies with clocks in their stomachs alongside display cases, with turquoise belt buckles and candles shaped like a wagon train. In the corner is a jukebox, providing entertainment to the modern-day cowboys waiting to saddle up their 18-wheelers as soon as they finish their date shake. And those date shakes are really, really good, let me tell you. If you never had one, you got to try it. The last poem is called Road Trip. Late rising, unsurprising, not very enterprising, but back on the road again. Quiet noise and roaring silence are both the same, sudden interruption of my mind's flowing river of thoughts. Timeless, unending vibrations. Spaces and solids rest side by side, creating the framework of the constantly changing scenery. We are always traveling, moving from one place to another. Souls forever in transit. Einstein said, "Nothing happens until something moves." We are all moving, leaving something behind and looking forward to what's ahead. Do mountains ever move? Do they leave something behind and look ahead? It seems not. It seems we just keep moving around them on this long, crazy road trip. Thank you, everybody. It is a crazy road trip. And if you are taking a trip, be careful and have a great time. And I want to thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing.